If you keep measuring yourself against others, you will always fall behind. Few people dare to admit it, but comparison is the silent thief of focus and momentum. Every scroll, every post, every fleeting achievement of someone else can quietly steal your energy and make you question your worth. You begin reacting to the world before even deciding what matters to you. You lose hours, days, even months without realizing it. And yet, this is the truth most avoid. Your progress depends entirely on your ability to focus on yourself first. No one is coming to save you. External validation, noise, and distractions will never guide you toward real success. The world does not owe you clarity, time, or opportunity. Left unchecked, your energy will be scattered and your priorities drowned in the chaos of comparison. Most people drift, pulled in 1,000 directions, without ever realizing how much potential they leave untapped. Leaders rise because they stop reacting, they choose, they focus, they own every moment. Most people get lost in the noise. Leaders know the value of silence, focus, and deliberate action. The average person checks notifications, answers every message, and lets opinions dictate decisions. They chase urgency over importance, drama over discipline, and fleeting recognition over real results. Leaders, by contrast, cultivate clarity, authority, precision, and timing. These 4 pillars are not abstract words. They are daily standards. They determine who wins and who drifts. They begin with one principle: focus on you until you win. Your focus is your most powerful asset. For the next 90 minutes, you will learn to reclaim control over your mind, your energy, and your actions. You will discover methods to act decisively without relying on motivation or external approval. Each step will teach you how to convert internal discipline into outward results. This is not theory. It is actionable transformation. You will leave this session equipped to protect your attention, prioritize what matters most, and channel your energy effectively. Imagine starting your day without distractions pulling you in every direction. Picture waking up and not immediately reaching for your phone. Imagine making choices based on what truly matters, not on impulse, comparison, or fear of missing out. Every hour you spend intentionally becomes an investment in your growth. Each decision reinforces your ability to act rather than react. This is the environment where focus thrives, and you're about to learn how to create it. In this session, we will cover 10 chapters, each teaching a critical skill to help you focus and win. Each chapter follows a simple structure. First, we identify the challenge. Then, we reveal the principle behind it. Next, we introduce practical exercises. We include a short 2-minute practice to integrate the habit. And finally, we anchor the lesson with a memorable punchline. This framework maximizes learning while giving you immediate ways to apply what you hear. By the end of this session, focus will no longer be abstract. It will be ingrained in your habits and mindset. Repetition is not redundancy. It is how standards become habits. You will hear ideas repeated strategically. You will learn to distinguish between noise and weight, reaction and choice, fleeting impulse and deliberate action. You will start noticing when energy is wasted, and you will reclaim it instantly. Step by step, practice by practice, momentum will build, and small actions will compound into undeniable results. This is how leaders rise quietly, consistently, and with purpose. You don't need to be louder, faster, or more impressive than anyone else. External approval is temporary. Real growth comes from mastering your internal standards and aligning your actions with intention. You will see how small, deliberate habits performed consistently create extraordinary momentum. You will gain confidence, clarity, and the kind of inner authority that makes you stand out without needing to shout. The path to winning is built in silence, one focused decision at a time. During this session, you will practice protecting your time, directing your focus, and acting with purpose. You will learn to identify what matters most and discard distractions effortlessly. When your actions are intentional, results follow naturally. By committing to yourself, you reclaim control, energy, and direction. Stay with me for the next 90 minutes. This could be the turning point of your life. Focus on your priorities, protect your attention, and commit fully to your growth. Each chapter will guide you step by step. Every lesson is designed to help you win quietly, decisively, and with unwavering focus. You do not need to be big. You need to be strong. You need to be clear. Focus on you until you win. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Own your morning. Build the strongest version of you. Most people let their phones decide their mood for the day. Notifications, messages, and emails pull them into other people's lives before they even step into their own. The first hour disappears into reaction, distraction, and chaos. By the time they stand up and face the world, energy is already fragmented, clarity is compromised, and focus is hijacked. Decisions feel heavier. Momentum slips through their fingers before it ever begins. Every scroll, every ping, every fleeting update takes a small piece of their attention, and with it, their potential. If you win your first hour, you win your day. The morning is a blank slate, a window of undisturbed mental energy, and the choices you make in that time set the tone for the rest of your day. Control this hour, and your mind and body align. Lose it, and the world dictates your rhythm. This principle is not theory. It is the physics of focus. The way you start determines how every thought, action, and interaction will unfold. Leadership, clarity, and momentum all begin before breakfast. Picture this. Someone lying in bed, scrolling aimlessly, their mind bouncing from one notification to the next. Each ping pulls them further from intention. Contrast that with a person sitting upright, eyes closed, shoulders back, taking a deep breath, and writing down 3 specific goals for the day. They visualize achieving those goals, feel the confidence, focus, and energy that comes with preparation, and set the tone for the day before checking a single message. The difference is immediate, tangible, and powerful. Start by taking control of your first hour. Do not touch your phone for 60 minutes. Stand up, stretch, and move to activate your body. Write down 3 non-negotiable goals that align with your highest priorities. Spend 2 minutes visualizing success. See yourself completing each goal with clarity and focus. Speak 1 short affirmation aloud. I own this day. My energy, focus, and actions belong to me. Optional journaling for 3 minutes can further cement your intentions by identifying 1 distraction to eliminate and 1 behavior to amplify. Ask yourself, am I starting my day reacting or leading? What can I remove that drains energy before it even begins? If I take control of this first hour, how will it shape the rest of my day? Honest reflection strengthens awareness and reinforces accountability. These moments of self-inquiry are investments, not distractions, and they build the foundation for disciplined mornings. Every ignored notification, every deliberate choice, and every minute spent in focused activity compounds like interest in a bank account. By the end of a week, your energy feels sharper, decisions feel easier, and clarity increases. In 30 days, your mornings transform into intentional, unstoppable momentum. By 6 months, Results become obvious to yourself and everyone who observes your progress. Leaders rise quietly because they refuse to surrender their mornings. They understand that energy, focus, and momentum are cultivated deliberately, consistently, and silently. Your morning is non-negotiable. Protect it as you would protect your most valuable asset. Each choice, what to focus on, what to ignore, what to do first, is a deposit in your personal power account. Leaders know that controlling the start of their day is more important than chasing motivation or external recognition. Your first hour sets the trajectory of your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions. Invest wisely. This chapter goes beyond mornings. It is about ownership, discipline, and the compounding effect of deliberate attention. Once you master the start of your day, every other part of your life falls into alignment. Your mind sharpens, your energy becomes a resource you deploy at will, and your actions become intentional rather than reactive. You will notice the difference in interactions, decisions, and goal achievement. Control your morning, and you control everything that follows. The battle for focus begins the moment you wake up. Win that first hour, and every other challenge becomes manageable. Start by refusing to surrender your energy to notifications, opinions, or distractions. Stand upright, breathe, write, visualize, speak, journal. Every step is a declaration of ownership. Small, deliberate actions in the morning build invisible strength. Stack them consistently, and results become undeniable. Your mornings are your battlefield. Win them first, and the rest of the day will follow. Each choice made with intention is a brick in the foundation of your personal authority. When you consistently protect your first hour, clarity, momentum, and confidence become automatic. Notifications no longer dictate your attention. Comparison no longer drains your energy. Every action, decision, and interaction begins from a position of control rather than reaction. The first hour teaches more than focus. It teaches self-mastery. It instills habits that compound silently into influence, authority, and results. Each morning that you choose deliberately builds the person who can handle challenge, pressure, and distraction without surrendering energy or attention. You become someone who sets the tone instead of someone whose tone is set by others. Start today. Tomorrow, repeat the process. Track your mornings for 1 week. Note how you felt, what distracted you, and what you accomplished. Observe the change in energy, clarity, and control. Momentum builds invisibly, day by day, creating a foundation that is hard to shake. The small victories of disciplined mornings produce results that feel almost effortless when compounded over time. Your mornings define your life. They are your most important asset, your battlefield, and your opportunity to rise above distraction. Begin each day with ownership. Stand strong, act with clarity, build momentum that compounds. Every intentional action, every deliberate choice, every focused minute reinforces your authority over yourself and your day. Imagine the morning 6 months from now. You wake up, immediately in control, energized and clear. Your first hour feels effortless. The tasks that once overwhelmed you are now manageable. The chaos around you is no longer your master. You move through your day with precision, confidence, and authority because you started with a ritual that sets the tone. You feel unstoppable, calm, and powerful, and this starts with the morning you claim today. Own your morning. Every breath, every action, every decision counts. Start strong, stay sharp, and let nothing steal your focus. Focus on you until you win. Chapter 2. Protect your focus. Guard your attention, like your life depends on it. Distraction is the silent thief of every dream. Most people allow their attention to be hijacked by notifications, emails, news, and endless pings. Every alert pulls them away from what truly matters. Hours are lost before they even realize it, and by midday, focus is scattered, energy depleted, and priorities forgotten. This constant fragmentation is why so many feel behind, anxious, and powerless despite their intentions. The world thrives on your divided attention, and without protection, your day, goals, and energy slip through your fingers. Focus isn't found, it's protected. Attention is a finite resource. Like a fortress, it requires walls, gates, and defense. If you leave it open, intrusions will take control. Mastering focus is not a natural state. It is a deliberate practice. Every moment you fail to guard your attention, you surrender power, clarity, and progress. Protecting focus is a non-negotiable skill. Without it, every other strategy for growth is undermined. Visualize a room with multiple doors. Every door represents a potential distraction. A colleague's question, a buzzing phone, a social media alert, a news headline. Someone unaware of these intrusions moves from door to door, losing energy and momentum with each interruption. Contrast that with a person who closes all unnecessary doors, opens only what is essential, and locks the rest. They move deliberately, complete tasks efficiently, and preserve energy for the work that truly moves the needle. Their day flows with clarity, power, and purpose. Start protecting your focus by creating layers of defense. Begin with your environment. Declutter your workspace, remove unnecessary apps, and silence notifications. Set intentional blocks of time for deep work. 30, 50, or 90 minutes of uninterrupted focus. During these periods, close your email, put your phone out of reach, and commit to one high-impact task. Each small adjustment, shutting a door, muting a distraction, setting a boundary, strengthens your ability to concentrate. This is not an abstract concept. It is actionable and immediately applicable. Ask yourself, where is my attention being stolen today? What intrusions can I eliminate before they happen? Am I allowing interruptions to dictate my energy instead of my priorities? Honest reflection sharpens awareness and builds the mental muscles needed to guard focus consistently. The more you notice, the more control you regain. Every blocked distraction, every maintained boundary, and every intentional choice compounds. At the end of the week, you feel sharper, more present, and more productive. By 30 days, your ability to focus becomes instinctive. By 6 months, it becomes a competitive advantage. Leaders understand this. They do not wait for focus to appear magically. They construct it, defend it, and deploy it deliberately. Protecting focus goes beyond individual tasks. It teaches discipline, patience, and the ability to prioritize. Each time you resist the pull of distraction, you strengthen your internal authority. Your attention becomes your asset. Your day becomes your controlled environment, and your results reflect the power of deliberate focus. Without defense, energy leaks unnoticed, and goals that once seemed attainable slip further away. Imagine checking your phone every time it buzzes. Now imagine the same day without a single unnecessary interruption. The difference is profound. Clarity, speed, and confidence replace stress, scattered energy, and fatigue. This shift is not dramatic overnight, but compounding small victories in protecting focus transforms your life. It is the foundation upon which every meaningful achievement is built. Start with micro habits. Designate No phone zones or hours. Set timers for deep focus and create visual reminders of your top priorities. Track how often interruptions break your flow and deliberately reinforce boundaries. Celebrate small wins, completing a task without distraction, resisting an urge to check an email, or maintaining concentration despite environmental noise. These micro-actions create a psychological feedback loop that reinforces mastery over attention. Ask yourself again, am I spending my attention on what matters or on what is urgent but irrelevant? Which distractions can I remove permanently from my daily routine? How will guarding my focus today impact my performance, energy, and clarity tomorrow? These questions build mindfulness, accountability, and control, anchoring your focus as a deliberate choice rather than a fleeting state. Over time, protected focus compounds like capital invested in a high-yield account. Each uninterrupted work session adds energy, clarity, and momentum. Each intentional boundary strengthens the muscle of concentration. The effects multiply over weeks and months. Complex tasks are completed faster, priorities become clearer, and stress from constant interruptions diminishes. What once felt impossible now becomes routine. Your focus is your weapon. Without it, intentions, goals, and energy dissipate into the chaos of external demands. With it, your day, decisions, and achievements align with purpose. This chapter is not about motivation. It is about structure. By designing your environment, setting boundaries, and committing to deliberate practice, you convert attention into results. Each small act of protection is a declaration of ownership over your life. The battle for attention begins now. Every choice to resist distraction is a step toward mastery. Every decision to prioritize your work over noise strengthens the fortress of your focus. Every boundary maintained, every timer honored, every interruption deferred compounds into authority over your day. The strongest leaders are not the busiest. They are the ones who guard their attention and deploy it strategically. Distraction is inevitable, but surrendering to it is optional. Start today. Design your environment for focus. Protect your attention as you would a precious resource. Set boundaries, create rituals, and honor your priorities. Each action strengthens the muscle of concentration, creating momentum that compounds silently but powerfully. By committing to protecting your focus consistently, you shape your day, your work, and ultimately, your life. Guard your focus. Defend your energy. Protect your attention. Your day and your results depend on it. Chapter 3. Embrace discomfort. Growth begins at the edge of pain. Comfort is the enemy of progress. Most people avoid challenges, stick to routines, and seek the easy path. They choose familiar, predictable, and safe over growth, resilience, and strength. Each time they bypass discomfort, their potential shrinks. The urge to remain comfortable is subtle but powerful, quietly eroding discipline and diminishing confidence. Avoidance feels safe in the moment, but it compounds into stagnation over weeks, months, and years. Discomfort is your gym. Growth happens under tension. True improvement never happens in comfort. Strength, resilience, and mental toughness are forged when the body and mind face controlled difficulty. The principle is simple. The harder the challenge, the greater the growth. Avoiding tension might preserve comfort temporarily, but it steals long-term mastery. Leaders understand that progress requires deliberate exposure to discomfort, consistently and intentionally. Picture this. A person stands at the edge of a cold shower, hesitating, heart racing, mind screaming, don't. They step in, feel the shock of cold water, tension through their body, but then notice focus sharpen, breathing deepen, energy awaken. Another person sleeps in, skips the workout, chooses the warm, easy path, and later feels lethargy, mental fog, and dissatisfaction. The contrast is vivid. Discomfort accelerates growth. Comfort preserves stagnation. Your response to small challenges determines how you handle big ones. Begin integrating discomfort into your daily routine intentionally. Take one action every day that stretches your limits. Wake up earlier than usual. Speak up when it's uncomfortable. Commit to a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Choose one workout that challenges both body and mind. Each deliberate act of discomfort trains you to resist fear, uncertainty, and avoidance. Over time, these micro-challenges accumulate, building resilience, confidence, and mental toughness. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding today that will make me stronger if faced? Where can I step outside my comfort zone without reckless risk? How can discomfort serve as a teacher instead of a threat? Reflect honestly. Recognize fear, hesitation, and doubt as signals, not barriers. These questions build awareness and prepare you to confront challenges rather than retreat from them. Each deliberate exposure to discomfort compounds. A small, controlled challenge today strengthens your decision-making tomorrow. A brief moment of tension handled with calm builds courage for larger conflicts. Over weeks, months, and years, these daily choices produce confidence, resilience, and mastery that comfort alone can never provide. Leaders do not avoid tension. They anticipate it, confront it, and grow through it. Discomfort also teaches clarity and perspective. When you are pushed outside your normal routines, your priorities become evident. What truly matters rises to the surface, while distractions and trivial concerns fade. Each encounter with difficulty refines judgment, sharpens focus, and strengthens resolve. You learn what you are willing to endure, and in doing so, discover what you are capable of achieving. Begin with micro-challenges if large ones feel intimidating. Take a 2-minute cold shower. Have a brief but honest conversation you've been avoiding. Work for one focused hour on a task that feels beyond your ability. Each act, no matter how small, signals to your brain that discomfort is a choice, not a threat. These small victories compound, creating a resilient mindset that turns challenge into opportunity. Ask yourself again, what discomfort can I face right now that will pay dividends in my growth? How can I reframe fear as a signal for action, not retreat? Am I willing to endure temporary tension to achieve long-term mastery? The answers shape not only today, but your trajectory for months and years ahead. Reflection transforms discomfort into a tool rather than a source of paralysis. Each day, you choose growth over comfort. You train discipline, patience, and persistence. Over time, mental toughness becomes second nature. Tasks that once seemed impossible feel manageable. Challenges that once caused fear become opportunities for demonstration of control, focus, and strength. Your identity shifts. You are no longer the person who seeks ease. You become the person who pursues mastery. Imagine 6 months from now, every day you start with a deliberate act of discomfort. You wake up earlier, engage in challenging tasks, and face situations that previously intimidated you. You notice confidence, resilience, and calm in situations that once caused anxiety. Focus sharpens. Energy is reliable. You operate from strength, not reaction. The compound effect of embracing discomfort creates a version of you that others recognize for authority, decisiveness, and presence. Growth never happens in comfort. Step into the tension, embrace the edge, and you will emerge stronger. Start today. Identify one area where you can stretch yourself. Face it deliberately, calmly, and with intention. Track the experience. Notice discomfort, observe your reactions, and reflect on your learning. Each exposure strengthens the mental muscle of resilience and reinforces your ability to handle the next challenge. Over time, small daily acts of discomfort compound into unstoppable momentum. Embrace discomfort, seek tension, choose growth. Your limits are meant to be tested. Step forward. Every challenge is a chance to strengthen your mind, body, and resolve. Chapter 4. Speak your truth. Say what you mean. Mean what you say. Most people speak to be heard, not to be understood. They fill conversations with filler words, apologies, and hedging phrases. They worry about what others will think, and in doing so, dilute their authority. Ideas become weaker, influence diminishes, and respect is lost before a single point is made. The fear of saying too much or too little keeps them trapped in indecision. Every unclear statement chips away at credibility and confidence. Integrity is your voice. Clarity is your power. Speaking with truth is not about volume, cleverness, or performance. It is about precision, intention, and authority. Every word you choose, every phrase you deliver, carries weight. When your speech aligns with your beliefs and actions, your presence commands attention effortlessly. Clarity in communication is a direct reflection of clarity in thought and self-mastery. This principle is non-negotiable. If people cannot trust your words, they cannot trust you. Picture this. Two people present the same idea in a meeting. One hesitates, qualifies every point, adds "I think" and "maybe" to soften statements, and leaves listeners confused. The other speaks with calm authority, precise phrasing, and a deliberate pace. The words land, the message resonates. Colleagues are compelled to act. The difference is not in knowledge. It is in the alignment of thought and speech. The confident communicator does not shout. They are remembered. Begin practicing clarity in speech by eliminating hedging words. No, I think, maybe, or kind of. Commit to short, declarative sentences that communicate exactly what you intend. Use pauses strategically, letting words settle before continuing. Focus on one idea per statement. If you commit to something, deliver it without qualification. Each small adjustment reinforces authority, builds trust, and strengthens influence over time. Ask yourself, am I speaking to impress or to impact? Are my words aligned with my intentions? Where am I softening statements that need weight? Reflection trains awareness, allowing you to recognize moments when speech is compromised by fear or doubt. This awareness is the first step toward mastering your voice. Every deliberate effort to speak clearly compounds. Meetings become productive, conversations purposeful, and decisions actionable. Over weeks, colleagues and peers begin to rely on your words. They respect your presence, and trust builds naturally. Your influence grows silently but unmistakably. Speaking your truth becomes not just a skill, but a habit embedded into your character. Speaking clearly also strengthens internal alignment. When your words match your values and intentions, your confidence grows. You stop apologizing for your presence or ideas. Discomfort with confrontation diminishes. You navigate difficult discussions with calm authority. Each interaction becomes a demonstration of control, focus, and integrity. Start with micro-practices. State your intention aloud before speaking. Simplify complex ideas into 1 or 2 sentences and consciously pause to let your message land. Record yourself reading or speaking. Listen for filler words, hedging, and unclear phrasing. Each practice session strengthens precision, rhythm, and vocal authority. Small daily exercises compound into mastery, transforming nervous hesitation into confident articulation. Ask yourself again, do I speak with intention or reactively? Where can I reduce ambiguity and strengthen impact? How does my clarity influence how others perceive me? Honest answers deepen awareness, reinforce habits, and align speech with personal authority. Every insight compounds, improving both perception and performance. Over time, deliberate communication transforms relationships, influence, and opportunities. Colleagues, friends, and clients respond differently when you speak with authority. Confusion and hesitation give way to clarity and action. The ability to speak your truth without apology becomes a defining trait. Leadership is not only what you do, it is how your words command trust, action, and alignment. Imagine 6 months of consistent practice. Your words are precise, intentional, and influential. You navigate difficult conversations calmly. Misunderstandings are rare. Your presence commands respect, not because of volume, but because of integrity and clarity. Every statement you make reinforces authority. Every conversation becomes a tool for progress rather than a source of stress. This is the power of speaking your truth. Start today. Identify one conversation where you can practice clarity, alignment, and precision. Speak deliberately. Pause. Observe the impact. Reflect afterward. Each intentional dialogue compounds into mastery, shaping influence, authority, and confidence over time. Say what you mean what you say. Speak with clarity. Every word matters. Your voice is your power. Own it and command respect effortlessly. Chapter 5. Finish what you start. Every completion builds authority. Most people start, few finish. Projects, tasks, and ideas pile up, abandoned before completion. They lose momentum halfway, distracted by the next shiny object or overwhelmed by fear of imperfection. Energy fragments. Confidence erodes. Ambition becomes frustration. Every incomplete task quietly undermines credibility, self-discipline, and internal authority. The longer you leave things unfinished, the more power the unfinished tasks hold over your mind. You don't earn respect by starting, you earn it by finishing. Completion is the currency of competence. Finishing a task demonstrates authority over yourself, commitment to your word, and mastery over distractions. Every completed action reinforces focus, confidence, and credibility. Starting is easy. Finishing is the difference between aspiration and achievement. Mastery grows from the accumulation of completed acts, not merely intentions. Picture this. 2 colleagues approach a project. One begins enthusiastically but abandons halfway when challenges arise. Tasks linger incomplete, emails unanswered, momentum lost. The other pushes through resistance, solves problems, and delivers fully. Recognition, trust, and authority follow naturally. The distinction is not in intelligence or skill. It is in follow-through. Completion signals reliability, discipline, and strength. People notice, trust, and follow those who finish. Begin with micro-practices that ensure completion. Identify 3 tasks today and commit to finishing them without distraction. Break large tasks into smaller, manageable steps and check them off systematically. If a project seems overwhelming, start with the smallest actionable part and complete it. Track progress visibly, either with a notebook, checklist, or digital tool. The act of completing consistently rewires the mind for persistence and accountability. Ask yourself, what have I left unfinished that steals mental energy? Which small step can I complete immediately to build momentum? How does finishing one task change my perception of capability? Honest reflection reinforces responsibility and triggers actionable discipline. Awareness of incomplete work allows you to reclaim control over your day and decisions. Every act of completion compounds over time. One finished task leads to another, creating momentum, confidence, and internal authority. Weeks of consistent follow-through transform habits, mindsets, and outcomes. Projects that once seemed insurmountable are tackled systematically. Your reputation strengthens, and your self-trust grows. Completion is not just productivity, it is identity. The person who finishes is someone others rely on, respect, and notice. Completion also trains resilience. Challenges, errors, and discomfort are inevitable in any project. Pushing through these obstacles to finish builds mental toughness. Each finished task becomes proof that you can overcome resistance, frustration, or uncertainty. Over time, resilience becomes embedded in your daily routine, reducing hesitation and strengthening decisiveness. Mastery, confidence, and reliability are cultivated silently through consistent follow-through. Start with a single daily habit. Finish the first task you start, no matter how small. Then move to the second. Each success builds a psychological pattern that reinforces persistence. Track every completed task, review what worked, and adjust what didn't. The simple act of finishing rewires the brain to seek completion rather than distraction. It trains attention, strengthens accountability, and reinforces the sense of control over outcomes. Ask yourself again, which tasks today am I committed to finishing? What small victories can I secure immediately? How does completion align my actions with my personal standards and authority? Reflection builds focus and primes the mind for consistent follow-through. Every finished task strengthens momentum, preparing you for larger achievements. Over time, finishing becomes instinctive. You stop procrastinating. You avoid distractions that would pull attention from completion. Complex projects are broken down and completed systematically. Others recognize your reliability, and you develop internal authority over yourself and your work. The compounding effect of completion transforms ambition into achievement, intention into reality, and ideas into impact. Imagine 6 months of consistent practice. Every project started is completed, every commitment honored, and every goal followed through. The weight of unfinished tasks disappears. Confidence grows, influence increases, momentum is unstoppable. Completion is no longer a skill to remember, it becomes a defining trait. You become the person who acts, delivers, and achieves. Finish what you start. Every completed action strengthens your authority, builds your confidence, and compounds into unstoppable momentum. Start today. Identify one incomplete task and finish it fully. Break projects into actionable steps and check them off. Track your progress and reflect on the outcomes. Over time, the habit of completion transforms your productivity, mindset, and presence. Every act of finishing reinforces your personal power, credibility, and focus. Commit, complete, rise. Your progress is measured not by what you begin, but by what you finish. Chapter 6. Reset your mindset. Fix your thinking before fixing your life. Most people blame circumstances, not themselves. They point fingers, rationalize failures, and tell themselves the world is unfair. Every excuse creates a mental barrier, slowing action, eroding confidence, and stealing momentum. Energy is wasted defending why things went wrong instead of focusing on what can go right. When the mind is anchored in blame, solutions become invisible. Progress stalls and potential remains untapped. Responsibility precedes freedom. True control over life begins with ownership of thought, attitude, and reaction. Fixing your mindset before fixing external problems is non-negotiable. When you accept responsibility for your choices, you reclaim energy, clarity, and authority. Mental discipline allows you to navigate challenges without surrendering power to frustration, fear, or regret. Freedom is not external. It is the result of mastering your inner world. Picture this. Two people face the same setback. One ruminates on unfairness, frustration growing, energy dissipating, solutions unseen. The other pauses, acknowledges emotions, asks, "What can I control?" and takes deliberate action. The difference is subtle at first, but compounds over days, weeks, and months. Clarity replaces chaos, momentum replaces stagnation, and confidence emerges. Mastery begins where responsibility is embraced. Begin practicing mindset reset through a simple 3-step reflection when you encounter frustration or setback. Step 1. Identify what is within your control and what is not. Step 2. Focus only on actionable items. Discard wasted energy on uncontrollable variables. Step 3. Define your next smallest step toward progress and execute immediately. This micro-habit trains your brain to act rather than react, strengthening discipline, clarity, and resilience over time. Ask yourself, where am I blaming circumstances instead of taking action? What decisions today are influenced by frustration rather than clarity? How can I shift perspective to focus on what I can control and improve? Honest reflection rewires thought patterns and primes you for deliberate, impactful action. Awareness is the first step toward reclaiming authority over your day and life. Every deliberate adjustment to mindset compounds, silently but powerfully. Each decision to own your response strengthens resilience. Every moment you choose clarity over frustration preserves energy for meaningful action. Over weeks, months, and years, this repeated practice transforms perception, response, and results. Leaders thrive because they focus on controlling their own thinking before trying to control circumstances. Resetting your mindset also strengthens adaptability. Challenges, setbacks, and unexpected obstacles become training grounds for resilience. You learn that frustration is a signal, not a stop sign. Clarity and calmness enable you to make better decisions under pressure. Each encounter with difficulty builds confidence in your ability to respond rather than react. Over time, your mental habits shift from reactive and defensive to proactive and solution-oriented. Start with micro-habits to reinforce mental discipline. Begin a daily reflection practice. Write down one setback and identify what was in your control and what was not. List one actionable step you can take immediately. Pause briefly each morning to frame your day intentionally. Each small exercise strengthens your ability to act decisively, think clearly, and maintain focus under stress. These micro-practices compound, producing clarity, authority, and mental resilience. Ask yourself again, am I reacting emotionally or choosing strategically? Where am I surrendering control by clinging to blame? How does focusing on what I can control improve outcomes and energy levels? Reflection deepens awareness, reshapes habits, and reinforces deliberate action. The mind becomes a tool, not a victim of circumstance. Over time, mindset mastery becomes automatic. Setbacks no longer derail momentum. Frustration no longer drains energy. Decisions are made from clarity, not impulse. The accumulation of these choices creates a person who navigates life with authority, calm, and precision. Others notice the difference in reliability, consistency, and confidence. Your inner state dictates your results more than external circumstances ever will. Imagine 6 months from now. Each challenge triggers a mental reset rather than frustration. You pause, assess, act deliberately, and continue with focus. Obstacles no longer feel insurmountable. Your clarity increases, your energy is preserved, and your day unfolds under your control. This mental discipline compounds into mastery over work, relationships, and personal growth. Reset your mindset. Own your responses. Focus on what you can control. Every thought, decision, and action matters. Clarity precedes action. Responsibility precedes freedom. Start today. Identify one situation where you are blaming circumstances. Reflect on what you can control. Take a deliberate step forward immediately. Track your responses and adjust as needed. With consistency, this practice builds mental resilience, sharpens judgment, and enhances personal authority. Your mind is the command center of your life. Take ownership, act with clarity, and lead from within. Fix your thinking before fixing anything else. Chapter 7. Stay calm. Under pressure, control your reactions, own your power. Most people panic when pressure rises. Deadlines, unexpected challenges, and criticism trigger immediate stress. They react emotionally, make impulsive decisions, and waste energy on worry. Focus shatters, confidence erodes, and productivity drops. Energy drains into fear and frustration instead of progress. Pressure becomes a trap, controlling their mind and dictating their actions. Calm is not weakness, it is control. The ability to remain composed under stress is a decisive advantage. Calmness allows clarity, precise thinking, and strategic action. It does not mean ignoring emotions. It means leading them rather than being led by them. The principle is simple. When your reactions are disciplined, you control the situation. Leaders know that composure is a tool for influence, authority, and results. Picture this. A professional faces a tight deadline with multiple stakeholders demanding answers. Panic sets in, voices rise, hands tremble, and clarity is lost. Contrast with another individual who pauses, breathes, prioritizes, and responds methodically. Decisions are made deliberately, communication is precise, and outcomes improve. Calm does not eliminate pressure, it transforms it into leverage. The difference is not visible at first, but results and influence reveal it clearly over time. To cultivate calm, implement a simple daily ritual. Begin with intentional breathing. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and pause for 4. This resets the nervous system and centers the mind. During stress, ask yourself, what can I control right now? What action will create forward momentum? Focus on these elements, ignoring uncontrollable factors. Each controlled pause strengthens discipline, reinforces authority, and preserves energy. Ask yourself, when faced with pressure, do I react impulsively or respond deliberately? Which thoughts distract me from clarity, and which actions reinforce control? How can I use calm as leverage rather than surrender? Honest reflection trains awareness, enabling you to notice triggers and respond with intention. Awareness is the foundation for composure under stress. Every deliberate effort to remain calm compounds over time. One measured response leads to another, building a pattern of resilience. Weeks of consistent practice transform impulsive reactions into deliberate actions. Your ability to influence outcomes grows, stress becomes manageable, and mental energy is preserved. Calmness becomes a habit, not a technique applied only occasionally. Leaders leverage composure consistently to navigate complex challenges. Calmness also strengthens decision-making under pressure. When emotions are managed, priorities become clear and options are assessed objectively. You stop reacting to panic and start acting from clarity. This allows better judgment, effective problem-solving, and strategic thinking. Each instance of calm reinforces confidence, turning pressure from a threat into an opportunity for mastery. Start with micro-practices. When you feel stress, pause, close your eyes, and breathe deliberately for 30-60 seconds. Identify the immediate actions under your control and execute one deliberately. Repeat this daily and gradually apply the technique to more complex scenarios. Track how your responses shift over time, noting improvements in composure, clarity, and effectiveness. Small, consistent practice compounds into mastery over reactions. Ask yourself again, am I allowing pressure to dictate my behavior, or am I choosing my response? Where can I insert deliberate pauses today to preserve focus and authority? How does maintaining calm improve decision-making, energy, and results? Reflection reinforces awareness, helping you transform stress into a tool rather than a barrier. Over time, calm under pressure becomes instinctive. Deadlines no longer trigger panic. Unexpected challenges no longer derail focus. Criticism no longer diminishes confidence. Your energy is preserved, your mind operates clearly, and your actions are intentional. Authority and influence grow naturally as composure becomes a defining trait. Small, consistent efforts compound into resilience, decisiveness, and control. Imagine 6 months of daily practice. Every pressure-filled situation is met with deliberate breath, measured thought, and intentional action. Colleagues and peers notice a difference in your presence, reliability, and influence. Decisions are executed with precision rather than panic. Opportunities once missed due to reactive behavior are now seized. Calm becomes your competitive advantage, allowing you to navigate complexity with authority and control. Pressure will come. Reacting gives your power away. Choose calm. Control your response. Influence your outcome. Your composure is your weapon. Deploy it with intent. Start today. Identify one situation that usually triggers stress. Apply the breathing technique. Focus on what you can control and act deliberately. Reflect afterward. Track your responses and notice how small, consistent choices build the habit of calm. Over time, composure becomes second nature, transforming pressure into a tool for influence, authority, and measurable results. Stay calm under pressure. Respond deliberately. Preserve your energy. Lead your mind, and you lead your life. Calm is strength, and strength begins within. Chapter 8. Replace old habits. Build new standards. Break old patterns. Most people try to eliminate bad habits, but fail to replace them. They attempt to quit without strategy, leaving a vacuum that quickly fills with old behavior. Willpower alone rarely succeeds. The absence of structure, intent, and replacement creates frustration, relapse, and self-doubt. Energy is wasted on guilt, and progress stalls. Without replacement, habits return stronger, reinforcing patterns of distraction, procrastination, and inefficiency. You can't delete a habit, you can replace it. True change is not about eradication, it is about substitution. Replacing ineffective patterns with constructive behaviors rewires the brain and strengthens identity. This principle is foundational. Old habits are neurological grooves. Creating new ones reroutes attention, energy, and action. Leaders understand that deliberate replacement, not removal, is the pathway to mastery and sustained growth. Picture this. Someone tries to stop checking their phone first thing in the morning. They tell themselves, "Don't scroll," but no alternative is given. Anxiety rises, attention wavers, and old impulses resurface. Contrast with someone who sets a clear replacement. Upon waking, they immediately journal, plan their top 3 priorities, or engage in a brief workout. The new habit occupies the neural pathway that would otherwise default to distraction. One action displaces the other. Over time, the brain adjusts and new behavior becomes automatic. Start by identifying one habit that undermines focus or productivity. Choose a replacement that aligns with your values, energy, and priorities. Begin small, a single step, 1 minute of action, or a micro-routine. When the old impulse arises, redirect immediately to the replacement behavior. Repeat consistently. Visibility helps. Track progress, note successes, and adjust for obstacles. Small, deliberate repetitions compound into automatic, identity-aligned habits. Ask yourself, which habits drain my energy or focus? What constructive behaviors can replace them? How can I design my environment to reinforce the new pattern? Honest reflection ensures the replacement is intentional, not reactive. Awareness strengthens control and accelerates habit formation. Each successful replacement compounds over days and weeks. A single morning routine displaces hours of distraction. Replacing reactive scrolling with journaling strengthens focus, clarity, and discipline. Over time, small changes build momentum, and old patterns lose power. Self-discipline, confidence, and authority grow silently but inevitably. Leaders leverage this method to build habits that align with their goals, values, and identity. Replacing habits also strengthens decision-making and resilience. Each time an impulse is redirected, the brain reinforces control. Each conscious choice builds confidence and reduces susceptibility to future distractions. Habits shape identity. Consistent replacements embed competence, reliability, and mastery into your daily behavior. You stop reacting unconsciously and begin acting intentionally. Begin with micro-habits if change feels daunting. Replace 3 minutes of mindless scrolling with reading, planning, or reflection. Swap reactive snacking with hydration or movement. Turn habitual procrastination into an immediate small action. Each micro-replacement compounds, rewiring neural pathways, creating momentum, and reinforcing personal standards. Consistency over time solidifies behavior as identity. Ask yourself again, what old patterns are strongest in my daily routine? Which replacement behaviors will align my actions with my priorities? How can I maintain awareness when impulses arise? Reflection primes deliberate behavior, ensuring replacements stick and old patterns weaken. Awareness is the scaffold for transformation. Over time, deliberate replacement transforms routines, energy, and results. Distractions fade. Productivity rises. Focus strengthens. Identity shifts. You become someone who consistently chooses growth over convenience. Momentum compounds silently, creating measurable outcomes. This is how leaders engineer their behavior. by designing what they do consistently, not relying on chance or willpower alone. Imagine 6 months of consistent habit replacement. Reactive behaviors fade, intentional actions dominate, and energy aligns with priorities. Small adjustments become effortless. Confidence grows. Decisions are sharper. Momentum becomes unstoppable. The brain rewires for efficiency, discipline, and effectiveness. Old habits no longer dictate actions. They fade into irrelevance. Replace old patterns. Build new standards. Align actions with priorities. Every replacement compounds, shaping the person you become. Your habits are your identity. Choose them deliberately. Start today. Identify one habit to replace. Define a constructive behavior that fills the space immediately. Execute consistently. Track your progress, reflect, and adjust. Over time, small, deliberate replacements accumulate into profound, lasting transformation. Every day you act with intention, your identity strengthens, and your life aligns with your highest standards. Disrupt the old, build the new, replace, repeat, and rise. Your habits define you, and every deliberate choice builds your mastery. Chapter 9. Win in private. Discipline builds public power. Most people perform only when someone is watching. They seek applause, recognition, or validation before committing effort. Tasks are half-hearted unless observed. Habits crumble when there is no audience. Productivity becomes dependent on external judgment, not internal standards. Opportunities are missed because action is delayed until someone notices. Discipline tied to recognition is fragile. Authority built on performance under observation is temporary. Private discipline creates public power. True influence and mastery are forged in solitude, away from praise or scrutiny. When you consistently act with integrity and commitment in private, the results manifest publicly. This principle is foundational. Behavior rooted in internal standards compounds into authority, credibility, and momentum. Leadership begins where no one is watching. Those who excel in private create outcomes visible and respected by all. Picture this. 2 professionals are given the same project. One does just enough to be noticed. Effort wanes when unsupervised. The other works diligently, day after day, without expectation of recognition. Months later, the second individual's work speaks for itself. Quality, consistency, and reliability visible to all. Private effort creates public influence. It is invisible to others until results materialize. Discipline away from observation builds trust, authority, and credibility naturally. Begin cultivating private discipline by creating non-negotiable routines you follow alone. Set a personal standard for early morning practice, focused work blocks, or skill development. Commit to completing tasks fully, even when no one is watching. Track personal benchmarks and progress privately. Each small action performed with intent reinforces self-reliance, accountability, and mastery of attention. These private wins accumulate silently into undeniable results. Ask yourself, which actions today will I complete without external recognition? Where am I relying on visibility to motivate effort? How can I hold myself accountable to standards unseen by others? Honest reflection anchors your behavior to internal authority rather than external approval. Awareness of reliance on recognition reveals opportunities to strengthen private discipline. Every deliberate act performed in private compounds over time. One uninterrupted, fully committed session builds momentum. One day of focused effort without validation strengthens mental toughness. Over weeks and months, private discipline manifests as consistent output, mastery of skill, and internal authority. Results emerge naturally, and public recognition follows. Influence is not granted. It is earned through habitual, disciplined action. Private discipline also develops resilience. Tasks that feel mundane or unrewarded test commitment and focus. Persisting despite lack of applause strengthens resolve. Over time, you no longer require external validation to act decisively. Internal standards replace dependency on approval, and consistency becomes habit. This resilience ensures performance even under pressure, scrutiny, or adversity. Start with micro-habits. Commit to one action daily that you complete fully, unseen by anyone. Write, plan, train, or practice with total focus. Avoid checking for approval or recognition. Trust your standards alone. Track completion privately. Each micro-practice compounds, building invisible strength, mastery, and credibility. Habitual private effort transforms personality, identity, and results. Ask yourself again, what can I accomplish today without seeking recognition? Where can I strengthen internal standards over external validation? How does performing consistently in private create authority and influence in public? Honest reflection strengthens commitment and reinforces discipline. Each deliberate choice in solitude builds momentum, power, and trustworthiness. Over time, winning in private creates undeniable public outcomes. Skills sharpen, productivity rises, decisions are deliberate, calculated, and effective. Others notice the consistency, quality, and impact of your work without needing explanation. Your influence grows naturally. Authority is earned, not performed. Momentum becomes effortless as private discipline solidifies identity, turning small, daily efforts into monumental, visible outcomes. Imagine 6 months of disciplined private action. Each day, you commit fully to personal routines, projects, and goals without observation. Your energy, focus, and consistency improve. The results become tangible, respected, and recognized publicly. Leadership, influence, and authority flow from effort that started unnoticed. Internal standards become your compass, guiding action, output, and decisions. Win in private. Build your habits away from eyes that judge. Every unseen effort compounds into power, influence, and authority. Discipline is invisible, but its results are undeniable. Start today. Identify one task or routine to execute fully without seeking recognition. Commit to excellence privately. Track results internally. Repeat consistently. Over time, each private effort compounds, creating habits, mastery, and authority that manifest publicly. Personal standards become non-negotiable, and your life transforms silently but profoundly. Act when no one is watching. Discipline privately. Influence publicly. Authority is earned in the unseen, and results speak for themselves. Chapter 10. Repeat. Until mastery. Consistency builds the person you become. Most people quit too soon. They start routines, practices, and habits with enthusiasm, only to abandon them when progress feels slow or results aren't immediate. Motivation fades and doubt creeps in. Momentum is lost, and potential remains unrealized. Without repetition, discipline is fragile and mastery impossible. The gap between starting and finishing defines the difference between aspiration and achievement. Repetition builds identity. True mastery is forged not in bursts, but in consistent, deliberate practice. Habits repeated daily transform behavior into identity. Skills, resilience, and mental toughness compound when actions are performed persistently, without reliance on motivation. Leaders understand that small, repeated actions accumulate into extraordinary outcomes. Identity is not declared, it is built through repetition, day after day. Picture this: an individual who trains once in a while feels progress, but inconsistent effort yields frustration and inconsistency. Another person repeats small, purposeful actions every day, writing, training, reflecting, or executing tasks. Over time, the second person's competence, confidence, and resilience become automatic. Skills are mastered, attention sharpened, and energy optimized. The difference between the two is invisible at first, but undeniable after months of consistent practice. Begin with micro-routines that are realistic and repeatable. Identify 3 core habits essential to your goals. Commit to performing them daily for a fixed period. Track progress visibly. If motivation dips, rely on standards and structure, not feeling. Each repetition strengthens identity and reinforces momentum. Consistency compounds silently into authority, focus, and competence. Ask yourself, which habits define who I am becoming? Where do I falter in consistency, and why? How can I design my day to repeat positive behaviors reliably? Reflection reveals gaps and opportunities, creating awareness for intentional action. Awareness ensures each repetition is deliberate, reinforcing identity rather than being mechanical. Each repeated action compounds over weeks and months. 1 hour of focused effort today leads to improved skill tomorrow. Tasks once difficult become automatic. Confidence grows. Mental clarity increases. The person you are becoming aligns with the actions you repeat consistently. Repetition not only builds competence, but rewires self-perception and identity. Leaders leverage repeated effort to embed mastery into their daily lives. Repetition also cultivates resilience. Challenges that would have disrupted a casual effort are handled effortlessly. Habits become shields against distraction, doubt, and resistance. Discipline becomes instinctive, and perseverance becomes the default response to obstacles. The cumulative effect of repetition transforms minor actions into habits, habits into routines, and routines into a consistent identity of mastery. Start with small, deliberate repetition today. Execute 1 key action fully, without compromise. Repeat it tomorrow, then the next day. Track consistency, reflect on outcomes, and adjust strategies as needed. Over time, this practice strengthens identity, reinforces authority, and makes mastery inevitable. Momentum grows silently, almost imperceptibly, but compounds into visible, measurable, and undeniable results. Ask yourself again, am I repeating actions aligned with the person I want to become? Which areas of inconsistency undermine my identity and results? How can I design repetition to become automatic, habitual, and identity-forming? Honest reflection ensures deliberate action rather than mindless routine, embedding mastery deep within. Over months, consistent repetition shapes your life profoundly. Habits that once required effort become natural. Energy, focus, and discipline integrate seamlessly into daily routines. You navigate challenges with confidence, execute strategies efficiently, and operate from a state of competence rather than reaction. Identity and mastery reinforce one another. Momentum becomes unstoppable, progress inevitable. Imagine 6 months of disciplined repetition. Each day, you complete the key routines, practice essential skills, and follow personal standards without fail. Your performance, resilience, and clarity improve continually. Others recognize your competence, consistency, and authority. Small daily acts compound into mastery over skills, mindset, and identity. What once felt laborious now feels natural, automatic, and deeply empowering. Repeat consistently. Build momentum. Reinforce identity. Every action compounds into mastery. The person you become is forged by what you do repeatedly, not occasionally. Start today. Identify the 3 core habits that define your goals. Commit to performing them consistently. Track, reflect, and adjust. Let repetition shape your identity. Momentum will build silently, but results will be undeniable. Each day of consistent action reinforces discipline, authority, and mastery, transforming potential into reality. Consistency is your foundation. Repetition is your tool. Mastery is your outcome. Repeat daily. Build relentlessly. Become unstoppable. Pledge and integrate the new self. Victory is the result of consistency, ownership, and focus. Over the past 10 chapters, you've explored the principles of focus, discipline, self-mastery, and intentional action. Each lesson, each exercise, and each micro-habit compounds into the person you are becoming. Growth does not occur in moments of inspiration, but in the relentless, deliberate application of these principles day after day. Your journey is not about perfection. It is about alignment, effort, and commitment. Consistency builds momentum. Ownership builds authority. Focus builds freedom. Your new habits, repeated daily, create a foundation invisible to others, but undeniable in results. Whether it is owning your mornings, protecting focus, embracing discomfort, speaking your truth, finishing what you start, resetting your mindset, staying calm under pressure, replacing old habits, or winning in private, every consistent action reinforces your identity and amplifies your influence. What you do in private compounds into public power. Now take the 72-hour challenge. This is a concentrated practice designed to integrate what you've learned and make it immediately actionable. Day 1. Guard your first hour. Complete it with intention, focus, and action without distractions. No phone, no notifications, no passive scrolling. Record your reflection afterward. Day 2. Identify and eliminate 3 energy-draining activities or habits that you noticed in your daily routine. Replace them with one focused, high-impact action aligned to your priorities. Day 3. Execute one difficult or uncomfortable task you've been avoiding. Apply the principles of calm, focus, and deliberate action. Observe how completing it changes momentum and confidence. These 3 days create compounding results. By focusing on small but deliberate actions, you solidify habits, reinforce standards, and build authority over your time and energy. Momentum begins to feel natural, internalizing discipline and mastery. Your life will not improve by chance. It improves through deliberate, repeated action. Visualize your life 90 days from now. You wake up with clarity and purpose. Energy is aligned with priorities. Distractions are minimized. Every day begins with intentional action, and each task reinforces identity. You respond to pressure with calm, navigate challenges with focus, and execute commitments fully. Your habits compound, your influence grows, your results are undeniable. This is not just theory. The next 90 days are your opportunity to internalize these lessons. Build rituals around the principles you've learned. Protect your focus. Act deliberately. Complete what you start. Replace old habits with new standards. Win in private. Each action strengthens your identity, builds authority, and compounds into extraordinary results. Today, I choose focus, presence, and ownership. I cut distractions, commit to standards, and align my actions with my highest priorities. I build momentum through repetition. I rise through consistency, discipline, and deliberate action. Repeat this pledge aloud each morning. Let it anchor your daily actions. These words are more than affirmation. They are the framework for your transformation. Momentum grows silently but powerfully, shaping identity, behavior, and results. Your journey does not end here. Apply the principles daily, track progress, reflect on wins, and adjust where necessary. The compounding effect of small, deliberate actions over 30, 60, or 90 days produces mastery that is durable and undeniable. Leadership, authority, and personal power are earned through this process, not given. Choose action over distraction. Choose consistency over comfort. Choose focus over chaos. Each day you act with intent. You shape the person you are becoming. Start today. Begin with a single, high-priority action that aligns with your standards. Protect your time, focus your mind, and execute deliberately. The first step is small, but its impact compounds. By consistently applying these principles, you will transform routines into identity, efforts into mastery, and intention into results. Your life, your focus, your discipline, these are your instruments. Play them deliberately. Build your future with intention. Start now and watch your growth compound beyond what you thought possible.